In this video, I'm going to show you how to make dynamic measures to allow your users to have the control on what they see on each report, to give them that flexibility and to drive that user experience. Welcome to Connect TV. This is Hayden. If you're here for the first time, please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the video. So today we're going to talk about dynamic measures in Power BI. One of the things that we sometimes see is that you'll have a report here. I'll show you some examples. We have a report here for the total revenue, and we may have another report for total cost and total profit. That would effectively be the same kind of information on the same report. You will also have a report that analyses cost versus profit, but some of your report consumers will just be interested in a total revenue, total cost, or whatever measure it is. And what we're going to talk through is how to make this dynamic. Rather than having a report for each individual sort of measure, we're going to talk about the user experience and how you can change that so a user can select, by use of a slicer, how they want the information displayed on the page. And it will really help the user feel more interactive with the data, more interactive with the reports. It will drive that user experience which we're all looking for when we're developing. Okay, so we've gone through the three reports, the three measures that we're going to focus really today, that we're going to use this process on. It's total revenue, total cost and total profit. And we're going to develop a report on one page here that allows the user, by selecting this information here, that will change the way that the information in the report. So first of all, what we need to do is we need this created. We need this slicer here created. So how I did that, I've already got it created, so you don't need to see me work through, but simply hit the enter data up here, and I've created a new table called measure table. So I'll show you that here. And really, it's just got the three columns that I'm interested in: cost, revenue, and profit. Okay. Very straightforward. So we've now got the slicer. Now, one of the important things to remember on the slicer is that we need to have this as single select only. We don't want them to select multiples in this instance. So in this demonstration, we're just going to focus on a single measure. So make sure that that's selected. Then we need a new measure that's going to sort of highlight what it is we've selected. So if I show you this display measure, so the way that we've structured this is if the table, so this is the table and column that we've created through the edit data, if it has one value, then we want to select that value. Otherwise, always just choose revenue. So we'll default to revenue if no selection's done. Now, the reason that I've put it, even though we've got single select in the measure, the reason that I've put this always divert to revenue, if you're using another page and the user wants to add in a measure that he sees, it may well fail if that slicer hasn't been selected. So just divert to revenue or whatever you want. Okay. Next, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to add a card, and it will be display selection. So this is just going to show you that that measure is effectively taking the information that we selected in that slicer there. Okay. Next, I want a dynamic title measure. So I've already pre-built this one again. So this, if I look at I've pre-built this selected measure text. I'll add this as a card to show you. Okay, and looking at the measure, all it's doing, it's adding the word total and the display selection. The reason I want this is so I can change the title up here. So I'm just going to remove this somehow. There we go. And I can drag this up here. This can now be my title page. Yeah, I'll need to remove the visual header. Sorry, not the visual header, the category. Yeah, so it just looks like it's a title there. And using that measure equals and the display selection that we're using here, we've now got a dynamic title, a dynamic text value on our report. So the users can always see what exactly they're working on. Okay. Now, the way that we do the measure, and so this is the fun part that selects the measure. So I'm going to add measure. And I'm just going to call this the selected measure. And that equals. And what we're going to use here is the switch functionality, DAX functionality. Okay, so switch is if you've never used it before, it's almost like an if statement, but it really simplifies that process, and it's a great tool to use. So we're going to go through switch. Now, the first expression I'm going to set to true. And the reason that we do that, that's effectively going to tell it to stop evaluating once it's found the information it wants. I've never actually really used false in this here. I'm not sure if anybody has, but the option's there. But always use true because we want it to stop evaluating once it's found the right information. So the next part will be, I'm going to look at the measure. So the display selection here. So if display selection equals profit, I want it to return the total profit measure. Okay, comma, again, display. So we know evaluating the second. So if it can't find profit, we're going to say revenue. Total revenue. And the last one for cost. There we go. There's one final here. So this is if it was an if statement, this would be your else clause. So I'm just going to leave this as total revenue. So if there's, again, similar to the display selection, if there's no slicer selected and the user's trying to use this on another screen, I'm just going to tell it to always default to revenue if it can't find an answer. There we go. So let's just drag that in, make sure that it's all working okay. Create a card, and I will use the selected measure. It's not working. What have I done? Ah, okay. That should be a comma instead of an equals. Hopefully you spotted that. So I've now got that measure, and every time I change this, it should change. 3 million. There you go. Just to prove that the information is correct, let's drop a quick table in. Let's just check by region. Total cost, profit, revenue, and the selected measure. So if we drag that down here, what I will do on the selected measure is set the format. There we go, so everything's the same. So in my total profit, which I've selected here, my total profit, it's shown the exact same in the selected measure. And if I hit cost, this will be 3.4 million, and revenue be 4.8 million. There you go, so that matches. So using this switch method, you can now give your users the control to change how they want to visualize. Simply, you could just copy across these reports and change the value section to the new selected measure. Obviously won't work on this page because I don't have the filter, the slicer. And that's it. So that's a really simple way to really enhance the professional look of your report, to actually wow your report consumers a little bit more. Give them that hands-on, that feeling that they're in control. And it really gives you some great feedback. So that's the video. That's the video for today. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section. Please do hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.